The trigger was ammonium nitrate, the chemical that caused the explosion, a stockpile of 2,700 tons. A shipment that was not disposed of for almost 7 years. But there could be another ticking time bomb in Beirut, another stockpile of the very same chemical. A local investigative journalist believes that only a part of the stock blew up on Tuesday. No one knows where the rest of it went. Here's a Gravitas ground report.
Days after the tragic massive explosion, the families of the missing victims still await the bodies or the miracles. 3 miracles have happened already. This fireman was rescued after found alive floating in the sea. This little girl was found alive and safe as well. But unfortunately, many of the firemen and civilians who work or live around were found dead. As mothers mourn and volunteers aid, the shocking facts remain center of the world's interest. It is now a known fact that more than 2,700 tons of ammonium nitrate were stored and ready to blast. This has started a wave of outrage in Lebanon and the world among the press and the people. Basically, they had an enormous bomb ticking at one of the most vital ports for all the Levant. Beirut port is source for major Western imports in Lebanon, Syria and Iraq. Conspiracy theories state that it was not an accident. How did the explosive material end up here? This captain of the ship that carried these tons, year 2014, Boris Prokoshev, explained in detail that the shipment wasn't supposed to stay in Beirut. It was bound from the Black Sea to Mozambique, but made an unscheduled detour to Beirut and never left.
We stand around 7 kilometers away from the point of the blast in Beirut port, and yet the impact has reached the homes and the stores in this area. We now know that the reason is ammonium nitrate stored in a warehouse. After the Russian captain spoke yesterday to the international media, we also know how it got here. But why it stayed in Lebanon for 6 years? Who covered that? Who's to blame? There's only one man who owns the story in Lebanon today. His name is Riyad Qubaisi. Let's see what he has.
Many are held responsible, the Ministry of Public Works and the authorities that ordered the ship to dock and impounded it. They forced to unload the cargo since it is dangerous. The reasons were that it is a threat on the international seas.
Qubaisi explains that the legal authorities agreed on condition that the shipment is handled and stored responsibly under the supervision of the Lebanese government.
The right place for such cargo to be handled is under the supervision of the armed forces. This material is forbidden to import without a special permit from the Ministries of Defense and Interior. They asked the court for the permission to relocate the cargo to a suitable place. The suitable place is not Customs Hangar 12 in the port of Beirut. It's like $1 or $2 million worth of goods. My personal analysis, knowing the corruption there, they probably thought, why lose it? Let's make money.
The port authority was kind of stalling the closure legally, Qubaisi says, since they were asking court of summary jurisdiction again and again, and the court was replying, it's not our specialization. This went on for 6 years, and 2 sets of officials at the port, and many ministers and many cabinets. 6 years of stalling.
Lebanon could have asked to deport it even if the government would pay the expenses. They had 2 choices. 1, deporting, and 2, destruction. Or they even could have asked the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to raise the international case and ask for help in returning it to where it came from or sending it to where it was headed. To these corrupt politicians, it's $1 billion worth of goods. Why get rid of it? Who says it was the full package of 2,700 tons that exploded? Analysis and reports say that the blast would have been way bigger if it was a 2,700-ton nitrate bomb. Not a building would have been left standing.
Who says it's the full package of 2,700 tons that exploded?
We exposed in documents and reports the massive port corruption. From inside the hangars, motorcycles vanished. Containers were stolen. A man bought a container. It was 23 motorcycles short. They were stolen.
Did they sell part of it?
Sure. This blast, it was the ammonium nitrate that exploded. There remains maybe material somewhere. I don't know. They could have sold or moved it or transferred it to Syria, for instance. Who knows?
It turns out that what blasted in Beirut port was not the full shipment of ammonium nitrate. and in governance of negligence, irresponsibility and corruption. The Lebanese fear that anything might happen anywhere. From Beirut, for WION, we are one. Ghadi Francis.